If you're trying to make a 50-yard field goal, that's far away enough. And the ball is airborne long enough for the rotation of the earth to deflect it to the right by a third of an inch.
Look at the planetary rotation. Does that
Does
not engage with a field kick?
So if you have a north-south stadium, and many are, if it's oriented that way, and the kicker kicks the ball, depending on how high and how long it's in the air, the rotation of the earth can have a significant effect on its trajectory towards the goalpost. If you're trying to make a 50-yard field goal, that's far away enough. And the ball is airborne long enough for the rotation of the earth to deflect it to the right by a third of an inch. Cincinnati Bengals against, I forgot who, was it Seattle Seahawks? In overtime, sudden death kick, and the kick went up and everybody's heart stops and no one breathes, and there it tumbles, and it hit the left upright and went in for the win, but kind of barely went in. And then I tweeted, I said this game was won assisted by the rotation of the earth. And that force that makes that happen is the same force that sends hurricanes rotating counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern here. Oh, by the way, talk about wind. You know, they're playing games in empty stadiums now. People, the fact that you're this thing sitting there in a chair and you're not smooth, any wind that would otherwise circulate unimpeded among the seats has friction against the fans. You would expect wind speeds and wind gusts, especially gusts, to be higher in a perfectly cleaned out stadium than in one that has 50,000 screaming fans. The direction the flags are going is not always the direction the wind is blowing down on the field. So what you should have in a modern stadium is anemometers throughout the stadium. All right? These are the wind speed detectors that you can say, oh, it's 12 miles an hour over there, 5 miles an hour over here. Let me hit the ball in this direction or kick the ball that way.
I would just love to see Neil as a field goal kicker running out on the field just going, I'm going to need a protractor.
No, a protractor.
Moving this entire time. Now, going back to our car analogy, or even our skydiving analogy as well, one way that you obviously can tell you're moving is if you open the sunroof or the window and you stick your head out and you can feel the air rushing past. So you might wonder, well, how come we can't feel the air rushing past at 1,000 miles an hour while the Earth spins? Well, that's because the atmosphere of Earth actually rotates with the Earth as well. It's actually held there by gravity. This is the reason why it takes the same amount of time to fly east to west as it does west to east. The plane is still in the atmosphere, which is moving with the Earth as it rotates. It's not like the Earth is rotating underneath the atmosphere as the plane flies.
Far away enough, and the ball is airborne long enough for the rotation of the earth to deflect it to the right.
So, I don't know if any of you have seen recently, but good old Nathan Oakley over at Nathan Oakley 1980 has been using my name in many of his videos. I think it's 14 or 15 videos in the last week or so. All off the back of a tweet that I sent him, which was, I think it was something like you and your reference frames have been ruined, and there was a little video of a tractor pulling a trampoline and a guy jumping up and down on the trampoline. Now, I still think that the point of that video was lost on Nathan, but he wants me to respond, so I think it's only fair that I do.
Okay, so Paul's gone to my Twitter page. Now, I'm not a Twitter user. I do use it to share the show, and obviously I encourage others to do so. And Simon Dan has tweeted me with what you can see on screen. Let's just see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Give me a second.
Let me try to. I can probably increase it on my end, but I don't know if you want the content of the.
No, just the picture. I can make it a bit bigger. There we go. Perfect. So what we've got is we've got a tractor pulling along a dude who's bouncing up and down on a trampoline. Now, I haven't got the full context from Simon Dan, but what my question would be is, given that there's claimed to be a Coriolis deviation to prove that Earth is rotating underneath, say, a gyroscope or a pendulum or a bullet, the idea is that you see a deviation to prove Earth spins. So my question would be, what precisely is the deviation that we are looking at here to compare it to the claim to be Coriolis proof that Earth's supposed to have, but we don't see? Is this an example of us not seeing deviation? Because Earth's supposed to have a Coriolis deviation, 15-degree turn an hour under the gyroscope. Well, this is a demonstration of a guy and the tractor not going underneath him. So I don't really understand what you're trying to prove here, Simandan. Is it that you're trying to defy Coriolis deviation with this demonstration? Because Earth's supposed to have a deviation, and I assume this is a demonstration of a lack of deviation. So just explain to me, if you will, what you're trying to prove, Simandan.
Can I say something about this?
Bush
Can I
can.
say something real quick? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is the inertial reference frame because everything's moving at a constant velocity. It's not curving, it's not accelerating. So this is the inertial reference frame. They claim we're in the non-inertial reference frame, just to be clear.
Constellation of momentum.
Well, the non-inertial reference frame would be the frame of reference that's turning in the Coriolis effect underneath the inertial reference frame. So the claim from Globe Earth is that you fire a bullet and Earth rotates underneath it. Or you throw a kick a ball, in the case of Neil deGrasse Tyson's example, and Earth and goalposts rotate underneath. That's the claim that's supposed to prove Earth spinning, the deviation that you see as Earth rotates underneath. So I'm at a loss as to what this is claiming to prove, given that the claim of proof that Earth spins is a deviation called Coriolis force.
That bounce the guy even higher, the tractor would drive away from him.
Yeah, I was thinking if this tractor all of a sudden he decided at the highest point of the guys up high, the tractor decided to go off into the field, then what would happen? It would go flat onto the road.
Who cares? The claim globe proof of spin is Coriolis deviation. Seeing it deviate is what's claimed to prove Earth spins. So what's this? A justification for why we don't see the proof of Earth spin known as Coriolis deviation? Is this a justification for why we don't see proof Earth spins? Seems that way to me.